Greetings, fellow dwarves. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria. Episode 7, Major Winter Update. So, before I start playing, I want you to start voting on what I should do next. Thumb on the scale a little bit, we did just get access to bronze and copper, so improving weapons and armor or improving the base might be meaningful. In terms of base improvements, we have a Yuletide hearth, not that I have the materials for that, to build as part of the free DLC, the Yuletide DLC, that just released. We have a celebration table to link with that. And before I get more into this, actually, there was a update today, and it's probably worth going over some of the patch notes for said update. So the update included a whole bunch of quality of life things to the game. So one thing is you can rename chests. So I can rename chests here to know what they are. So like this is a food chest, right? If I could spell. So that's really nice, and you can also do that with signs and stuff like that. There are new recipes. So there's recipes to make iron for metal scraps and to make ironwood later on out of wood and iron metal scraps. So there's a bunch of like quality of life recipes like that as well. They also released a Rohan armor DLC and then a bunch of Yuletide recipes so that you can make like Christmas themed recipes as well. So a lot of really cool quality of life improvements there. And yeah, let's go over some of the new recipes here. So we have a stew that requires fennel that I have not interacted with. We have some Rohirrim spear and shield. And that's about the same tier that we're at now. So I wouldn't say that's like necessarily super interesting. But then you have some of the new updates. All right, so here, cave honey. I'm just going to go through. Actually, let's mark these as finished because I don't really need to wade through all of this. But we have some new recipes as well, which is a result of that DLC. Or two DLCs, because there was the Rohan DLC and then the Yuletide DLC. So here in the recipe list, a brew kettle for mulled cider, and then some way to make a Yuletide feast with cranberries, meat, parsnips, dough on a meal table, Yuletide fruit crust cake, and these are all going to impart bonuses, which would be cool to have. In terms of essentials, we have a present pile. So it's kind of like a treasure cache, but, you know, present themed. Makes sense. And some furnishings. Some decorative, like, string lights and the like. As well as your Rohirrim flags for the Rohirrim DLC. Alright, looks to me like you guys want me to improve my weapons. I am all over that. So let's get going on that. One of the first things I want to do is to figure out exactly what I want to forge. My 2 cents... I think I would really like to go over to the Great Forge of Narvi and get myself an Urgeon shield. The issue with this, of course, is I don't have true quartz. So I want to make some bronze so that I can make this when I have it, but I need to be on the lookout for true quartz and hide as well, actually, now that it occurs to me. So besides that, taking a look at my own armor, we have a tier 2 helmet, tier 1 armor, tier 1 gloves, and an adventure pack. So the armor and the gloves could be improved. And I think it's probably worth improving if I'm going to go anywhere dangerous. So in terms of the armor, I don't have the Erebor ringmail unlocked just yet, but we do have the Erebor planked gauntlets, which require hide and ingots. So hide is, I'm going to grab from the stags in the Elven quarter, and then the steel I can start making now. So I'm going to make a full batch of steel here. Because I'm sure I'll end up using it. And then, before I leave the base, let's rename some of these chests for organization. So this is going to be a miscellaneous chest. It's mostly like treasures and boosts, but we'll call it miscellaneous. This one is for, fiber and cloth, I guess. What did I put in here? Feathers? Yeah, close enough. This one is ore and ingots. And eventually I'm probably going to have to separate them out because we'll have enough ore and ingots to require multiple chests, you know, an ore-only chest, an ingot-only chest, so on and so forth. Here is, like, gemstones. And then, oops, this one should be wood. So, a wood chest with wood inside of it. Little confusing, but, you know, makes sense to me. Alright. So, some of the steel is coming out. And I can hold on to it for now. But I think what's going to be more meaningful is if I start to go back to the Elven Quarter and get some of the animals to be hunted. And for that, I'm probably going to need arrows. Because, you know, without arrows, I can't really hunt them. So, I'm going to craft up a whole bunch of tier 2 arrows. It's also nighttime. So it might be a good time to sleep. Oh, and then there was this, like, hidden chest in the middle, which is, like, plant seeds. Right. This armor makes me look like Genghis Khan. Are there different size chests? There are. And they will unlock when you interact and unlock the materials, you know, so once I get a new material, I'll get access to the recipes included in that new material. I'm also going to queue up some bronze. I think it would also be wise for me to, once this run of bronze is done, to queue up some copper. Because we have a bunch of things to make out of copper. And honestly, they're really important, in my opinion. The brew kettle, very important. And then the roasting pit, very important. Don't I have a roasting pit? Yeah, I have a roasting pit. The stove is going to be really important. So there's some things to make out of copper as well. So I'm going to go over to the Elven Quarter, looking for both copper and for, you know, other materials that we might want. So that's all rock. There's got to be some sort of strategic material in that. I have a hard time believing it's just like rock all the way in. But who knows? Yeah, brewing is important. It really is in this game. So we do have iron ore there. I don't need iron at the moment, but I can mark it down for later. And I did say that last stream it was really important to just like mark everything down. Right? Because at some point you're going to want said resource, and without marking things down, every time you need that resource, it's going to be like a wild goose chase, which, needless to say, is like kind of a waste of your time, having to rediscover things for the, you know, the nth time. So, I highly suggest marking everything down all the time so that you're not on said wild goose chase. So with any luck, we will find some copper around here so that I can get like a brew kettle going to start brewing beer. And I'll talk about the beer mechanics once I have the kettle up. But you guys also wanted me to improve my gear, and most of that comes with just harvesting some more hides from the animals ahead. So later on, it's possible, if you're wondering, to make hides out of these scraps that you get from these lower animals. But I do find it's just a lot more efficient to go to the Elven Quarter and get the hides yourself, manually. Because we're not going to have access to that later on resource and recipe for a bit. While I'm here, it might also make sense to stockpile a little bit more elven wood, because I know I'm nearly out of elven wood back home. And I didn't bring a meal today. I don't know why. It was just a lapse of judgment. But after shooting some prey, I'll be going home and cook myself maybe a lunch. Of the 3 meals that you can have, I prefer the lunch for the health regeneration. Hold E to pick up everything around you. That's a good tip. Thank you. And of course, lest we forget, we should also grab the, oh good, shot the wall. We should grab the ingredients, the rare ingredient from this zone. The blessing. So, let me update the priority. I forgot to do that. Improve gear. The other thing to improve gear will be to go back into the Mines of Moria and to repair more of the statues that that unlock blueprints. So I'll add that to the queue as well. Oh, I don't really want to get in a fight with Cave Bear at the moment, though. But I will pick up all the wood scraps from the things that the trees that he's knocked down. 3 wood scraps, always a good thing. All 4 blessings. The one thing I hadn't really done is to poke around the edges of this quarter to inspect whether or not there is more ore for me to obtain. So I'm going to look about. I know I harvested some of it, but I can't imagine I got all of it, because it's a pretty big space. It's also worth noting that, like, and I mentioned this last stream, but you can build wherever you want in this game. There's almost no penalties for building wherever you want. I would suggest somewhere flat, because it's going to be somewhat frustrating to build on uneven surfaces. But with that said, I mean, of course this is an opinion, but one of the most unique and aesthetically pleasing areas to build, and very well lit to boot, is right here in the Elven Quarter. So it's not an unreasonable place to build. Hell, you could even, like, build around the Narvi. Where's my favorite build location? Well, being a dwarf, and enjoying the aesthetics of dwarven architecture, I really like just building in the initial dwarven quarters that you have access to at the start of the game, which look, you know, lore appropriate. Because it would be very weird. I mean, it's pretty to live in the Elven Quarter. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely one of the most beautiful areas of the game. But a proper dwarf wouldn't live here, right? This is for elves. I think what I'm going to do, instead of running all the way back home, I'm going to go to the mapstone in the Mines of Moria. Because I didn't really find any ores. I mean, I haven't truly been looking all that well. But I didn't really find any ores around here to mine up. And I wouldn't mind having more copper before returning home. Because a lot more copper is going to allow me to make those brew kettles and that kind of stuff. So I don't have the ability to get precious gems yet, or the granite. I did mention, however, and it's worth repeating, that wherever you decide to build, give yourself a lot of space to grow into. Because at the start of the game, you don't have a lot of things to build, and the things that you have to build are pretty small. The largest versions of, like, hearths and whatnot are very big. And if you don't, if you put yourself in a very tight space, you just won't have the area to expand. All right, let's get over there. Build our own path. Forge your own destiny. Or fall to our doom. I don't know which. So if it's yellow, it's valid. If it's red, it's going to fall. Things need support. So here's a good example. I can go out 3 but not 4. This 4th would fall. I did have a YouTube comment which I rather liked, which is mine from the top down. The camera angle will be a little bit better. The viewing experience will be a little bit better, and yeah, I ought to do that. So here's a big thing of copper. Let's get cracking. And we'll have a mining shanty too, which is going to be awesome. I do wonder if I manage to piss off the horde up here, could they get to me?
If a wolf should pad along my path, a terrible day'd have he. I'm a feisty fool with an empty fork, and if he would not flee, I would hang that tail with a copper nail. Wolf for dinner for me. Ah, my pickaxe swings through.
I guess my, yeah, they might shoot me, but I'm really far away from the ground. So it'd be very challenging for them to reach me, even if they had arrows or throwing stones or whatever. And again, this little meter is the indicator of you pissing off the enemies. And when you get really close, it starts to glow red, and waiting will prevent them from aggroing. There are some things like firing up a forge, which will auto-aggro them. And I have noticed, and I might be wrong in this, but I have noticed that periodically they just attack you, regardless of the noise you're making. There might just be some raids, because I've definitely been in situations where I'm standing around doing nothing, not making noise, and then they're like, ah, let's go get them. Wolf for dinner sounds delicious. You know, there's also a song about eating spiders. So, you know, I don't know what the standard dwarf diet is. I'm not like Stephen Colbert and have all of Tolkien's stuff memorized like that. But given that there's like spider eating songs, I don't think dwarves are all that picky. They love food, but they're not picky eaters. Which, you know, my toddler could learn a thing or two about that. Alright, let's get down, like, the slow way. The slow way that won't, you know, insta-gib me to death. But that was a lot of copper. Actually, it was not as a lot of copper as I thought. But it's still more copper than I had before. And, I'm gonna go mapstone fast travel to the starting location, because my character is moments away from starving. If you're wondering, starving won't cause you to lose the ability to fast travel, but it will stop you from sleeping. Did I mark the... Yeah, I think I marked those gems. And my pick isn't strong enough to mine those gems, or the Eraz granite, so that's why I'm not running over there. Forge. You know, I'm just gonna take these materials. So if you happen upon anything that's rebuildable, you can just as easily break it down for resources, and sometimes you'll get nice resources out of it. Sometimes. Not always. Hey, goat. Sorry, goat. You're just a little too tasty to survive. Alright, so the campsite I have should be just ahead. And then we'll bolt on back home. I'm also collecting all of the oats around. And other things that I dropped. Like at some point, I killed people around here for jade. Okay, there's coal there. That's good to know. I'm right outside of my fast travel site, so marking things here is kind of not necessary in my opinion, because I'd be I traffic here often. There's also the rune table to rebuild, and I'm going to go rebuild it now. Because this will allow blessings on weapons. So the blessings I have, one is a shockwave that knocks enemies back, and the other does bonus damage against orcs and glows when they're near. The reason I'm rebuilding this is, yoink! I'm going to break it down, and then I can just bring these resources home to build them back home, because I'd rather have them back home. So I don't yet have the black diamonds to actually set up a mapstone at my own home. Once I have the black diamonds to spare, I'm obviously going to do that, but I have to make a quick run from Ori's outpost to my home. So I based up just up the street from Ori's outpost. Not far at all. As Fluffy Blanket just said, it is free on Epic right now. For anyone that's new to the channel, I don't play Epic exclusives. Like, I just don't. So I'm playing this on Steam. And if you are... Oops, I should have lit that with coal. If you are like me and you're like, I don't want to invest in Epic, I will, or probably will, have keys for this to give away next week, according to the developer. So let's go ahead and queue up some copper so that I can drink booze. I'm old enough. I don't know how old you guys think I am, but there's no way I could pass for 20, so... Or the age of majority in the country that I live, I should say. And the task of putting everything away. So, fiber and cloth, we're going to drop the hide scraps and the hide. I don't really need 2 torches. What I could do is I could just burn up a torch rather than have to throw it away. Extra light. No one's going to complain about extra light. And you guys voted for me to get better gear, and I think the gauntlets is one such item that I needed. Yes. So I am going to get the gauntlets. So now I have tier 2 helmet, pants, gauntlets, tier 1 armor, and that is to be improved. The other thing that I could build... Oh, and of course we want to put the rune table down too, right? The rune table is not something that I'm going to interact with, like, often. So, I don't think it's unreasonable to put it, like, upstairs or away, essentially, somewhere further. It's still... I still have access to the materials that are downstairs, and I am going to inscribe a rune on my Orcbane steel shield. It's the only materials that I have. So now I have a... I basically made myself stink. And unfortunately, I missed lunchtime. But at least my belly's full. The other thing I could do with the armor that I'm outgrowing is drop it on an armor stand. I guess I can leave that up to you, but in this game, as I mentioned, you can't really throw anything away. Exactly. It just, items don't disappear. So as you can see, like, I have old gear here just, like, lying around. If you want, and I'll pull on this, I could perhaps build armor stands for gear I've outgrown. So, what do you think? Yes or no? For old gear. So, very simple pull right above my head. Not of much consequence. I would just need to make, like, 1 iron for it. Not a big deal. I can afford that. And while you vote on that... Where's my repair hammer? Oh, it's 8. I'm not used to it being lower quality. Let's fix... Oh, goodness. This is a bigger task than I want to truly take on. So I'll fix what I look at commonly, but the ceiling I don't think I'm going to care about until I need more space. Most of the second floor is like pretty decently repaired. Most, not all. And if you want me to build up the base, there is poles for that, right? What I work on is mostly pulled on, so if you want me to continue building, I am happy to. Just vote for it. So it looks like armor stands is a go. Got it. And let's also go ahead and get myself a brew kettle. We're getting a little cramped in here. At some point, I'm going to want to outgrow this space, but I'll put the brew kettle here for now. So the way this works is you feed it ingredients. Evening ale, smoked mead, mulled cider. I could go get myself some cranberries for evening ale. So I'm going to do that in just a moment. Make a few iron ingots because it seems like I needed it. And I would like to brew before going to sleep. So evening ale requires and let's conclude that. Evening ale requires just a little bit of cranberries, and I'm pretty sure I know where cranberries are. It's also, I have not been marking down wild plant locations, but with that said, it would be wise. So that if you're trying to harvest, like, sunions, for instance, which I just picked up, you know where they are for the future, so that you don't have to go wandering around for them. In the latest update, they've also included a way for you to grow your own cranberries. Before, they weren't able to be planted on planters, but they are now. So, if you want lovely cranberries for cooking, Yuletide meals, they are available now for farming. I don't have farm set up yet, but if I recall correctly, at the end of last stream, I did interact with bats for the first time, so I do have a little bit of guano, if I'm not mistaken. So farming a few more bats. If that's true, I would have the farm box recipe, and I do. Right. So if I upgrade my pick, or rather get a better pick, I'll be able to harvest the granite and then make myself some farm areas.
We got orcs.
Hello.
Get him. That's one more for me. Perfect.
Hey, I didn't see the wolf. Rude. I'm probably going the wrong way for cranberries. It stands to reason I need to mark them down better. I was trying to find... I think it's actually right outside of the Elven quarter. It was to the south, and I went the wrong way. But I've already committed to going this direction, so I'm going to keep going in this direction and mark down what's down here. Oh, no, there's cranberries here, too. Okay, let's mark that down. Mark my location with... cranberries. I wonder... I don't like farming, like, wildly outside of the base, because I don't want to have to run all the way over. I was just curious if I got... No, I didn't. If I got granite from breaking that down, allowing me to, like, build a farm patch elsewhere, but no. Luckily, there's, like, a lot of cranberries here, so I'm probably not going to need cranberries for a while. And I'll pick up the other foods, too. Also wanted to mention, one of the next things I plan on making, as far as recipes go, is the Urgeon Shield. This thing, once I get True Quartz. And the reason I'm mentioning this is, I know the game is really dark. It's dark for, like, lore and atmospheric reasons. And if I raise the gamma, it starts to look really washed out. So there were some YouTube comments of like, oh, can you raise the gamma for me? And it's like, I could, but the game gets real ugly when you do that. Which is what my hesitation is for that. Is I don't want an ugly game. So I'm wearing a miner's helmet, I'm carrying a torch, I'm doing my best to illuminate the area for your benefit. Yeah, there's also, exactly, there's cranberries right outside of Ori's outpost in the starting zone. There's not a lot of them. There's like 2 or 3. But better than nothing. So good news is I went the right way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys vote on what I work on tomorrow. If you want me to improve the base by adding more of the new constructible things, work on the story goal. So in terms of the story goal, open Lonnie's chest is really the story goal, which is a bronze key. I could also improve my weapons, armor, tools. That would probably include going back to the Mines of Moria, double backing on all the areas that I have yet to explore, and repairing any of the statues that will unlock blueprints for me, because I'm missing some of the blueprints. I'm missing some of the Erebor armor blueprints, missing the helmet and the chest piece. So I'd be happy to do that. Explore new areas, get needed materials. It depends on what you want me to craft, but at the very least, I'd like beer, right? If I'm a dwarf alone in a cave, you better believe I want some beer. And I've also been repairing and illuminating the torches around here. So there was other YouTube comments of like, oh, it would be great if you like actually built the torches and whatnot and lit them. So one thing I could do once I have access to the nicer looking granite is just expand my walls out that way, just to, you know, move into my neighbor's area, because I'm not restricted to the floor print of the house I started in. I can build really in any direction that I please. I'm just choosing not to at the moment because I don't need the space yet, but I probably will need the space in the long run. Good enough. So brew kettle, evening ale. And the evening ale is going to take a while for me to actually make. So it's not something I'm going to be able to benefit from tonight, but I will be able to benefit from it tomorrow. So I got the ball rolling on that. And you guys wanted a armor stand, so let's make one. And I think I'm gonna put armor like outside. I know it seems a little weird, but it's like a guard or something. I don't know. It's what I'm doing. Because if they destroy it, it doesn't matter. It's like gear that I outgrew. So it's not a big loss if they're like, oh yeah, look, armor, smash, smash, smash. I wouldn't care. Yeah, a scarecrow for orcs, exactly. So the beer will probably be good to consume sometime today. And the way it works is you consume the beer, and then when you sleep, you gain a benefit thereafter. And there's different beers and ales and other liquors for you to consume, and providing a variety of benefits as a result. So you can choose, oh, I want poison resistance, or I want stamina regeneration, or I want, and subsequently brew it. Alright, so improving the base is what you guys voted on. Let's go, and I don't have enough coins for the present pile, so we can't build that. We do have this new Elven wood chest, which is higher capacity, but it does require steel, and steel is not something I have in spades So I'm a little hesitant about including that. We did get the brew kettle. I don't have the materials for some of the new stuff. So I don't have the amber, for instance, for the ink grinder. Or the balsam wood for the gem cutter. Or the granite for the hearth. So realistically, despite the fact that you voted for me to like improve the base, there's not a lot of things that I can build right now. But what I can do, at least for a little bit, is to make sure that well, let's actually figure out what's upstairs and what we can do with it. So these are just temporary platforms, scaffolding, if you will. There's actually scaffolding to be built, it's worth noting, which is honestly pretty cool. These sort of like scaffolding platforms have to be able within a sphere of influence of a hearth. Oh, look at this. So I didn't realize that we had an open roof. Like, completely didn't know. But we could very easily knock down some walls and, like, include adjacent buildings to our structure. Because this is somewhat of an incomplete roof, I'm not going to make any decisions about what I'm going to do with this at the moment. Like, I don't want to fix it up, because I think in all likelihood I'll probably knock it down so we have more space in the long run. So I'm just going to fix up some of the walls. And then, I think, a good use of my time, if you guys want me to improve the base, is to figure out, what we want to build, and then hunt for those subsequent resources so that they're available to me. Yeah, it's not like it's gonna rain on me, that's true. I mean, there is this, like, cave hole thing. I do have some natural sunlight, which is interesting. Alright, let's also cook lunch. So I'm gonna stick around the base until lunchtime. And then venture out. So other things that I could do to improve the base. So we do have some of the exterior roof, but I don't think I really want to do much of that until I get a better pick. Now, just to share a little bit of extra information, the pick that I can craft right now, this first age pick, I don't have the balsam wood for it yet, or the black diamond for it, but it's also not my pick of choice. I don't want to spoil what I'd rather make, because I don't have access to it yet. But just to let you know, like, it's not something I want to make, but I do think that we're going to want access to higher tier materials, so working towards that, I think, would be a good idea. So, in terms of that, we have the gate to Durin's Highway.
What sunlight feels like.
Here, I'll tell you what sunlight feels like. I'll send you to the afterlife, and you'll know. Yeah. There, there's sunlight. You're welcome. I'm so neighborly. Best neighbor there is. This side of Mordor. Alright, this is what I wanted. So, I'm going to override your priority because there's really not much base improvement that I could do at the moment. I am going to explore the mines of Moria more. The buildings down there required regular stone to repair, if I recall. So I have a nice amount of stone on me at the moment, so that I could repair them. I'm going to bring a little bit extra wood so that I can build temporary platforms if I need to get to hard-to-reach places. And maybe put my higher tier arrows away. I don't yet have a chest for, like, gear. So maybe I'll make a quick chest just to put things away. Like, arrows. I'll put it here. I'll call it the weapon chest, because older weapons can go in there too. I also don't know where the Gimmel's carvings go. I would love to find that out too. Right. So let's get over... Ooh, that looks kind of broken. 13%. Yep. It'd be rough losing the pillar to our home. Let's not allow that. Oh, the carvings I did find in the shadow. Okay. Right. And I decided that I didn't have enough health to go there. Because I don't yet have a lot of consumables to replenish health, and I don't have, like, shadow resistance. That's right. Thank you for tuning in to Lord of the Rings Return to Moria, which originally streamed live on Twitch December 13th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow dwarves.